Hi everyone and welcome back to Craft Time. Today we're going to be focused on camping, making a camping scene for fall together. So get out all your craft supplies and your templates and let's get started. Let's take a look and see what we need for today's craft. So to start, I didn't have any cardboard, so I decided to take an old poster and just cut it. You could also use a file folder or a cereal box or a piece of cardboard. I have a paper bag and some pieces of felt, as well as 2 pieces of green paper, just a regular piece of light construction paper, and then some random construction paper that I'm thinking I'll use for leaves, grass, water, trees, things that I find on a campground or in nature. So to start, let's take whatever piece of cardboard you're going to be using. Let's grab our green pieces of paper. If you don't have any green, you can also take paper and make it whatever color you'd like your ground to be. I just want to fit 2 pieces on my 1 piece. So to do that, really very simple. We're just going to take our glue and we're going to glue to one side of the green paper. I'm going to put a little bit on the inside. I'm going to grab it, turn it over, and then just put it on top. I'm going to try and get out as many bubbles as I can and just smooth over like so. Then I'm just going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm just going to take it, put my glue on, grab my other piece, and very gently try to line up the pieces and put it on. Now because I didn't get this part stuck, I'm just going to put some glue under here too and press it down. So now when I turn it over, you see that I can simply glue this side over, or I could use my scissors to cut it to size. But I really like just using glue and folding it over because it makes it that much stronger. And there you go. So now we have our platform for where our campsite, our fall camping is going to happen. So when I think about camping, I think about where I'm going to sleep, of course, and that means I want a tent. So with this piece of paper, I'm going to take it and I'm going to create a rectangle. I'm just going to take my pencil, I'm going to create a small rectangle size like that. I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to cut close to the line that I created. I'm going to fold this piece of paper in half, like so. So you see what I did there? I had my cut paper, I just folded it, I creased it and pressed it down. And now, while you're looking at it, you can see that it makes sort of a tent. I'm going to take a little smidgen, like this much on this side, and this much on this side. On the line, I'm going to press up. See what I've done? I've created a little tiny crease like that. Let's do it on this side. Take our paper, fold it at the line up, press it down like so. So if you're looking at in the camera, you'll see that it looks like that. What I want to do is make it sit like that on my paper. And now I have these little tiny pieces to hold it into place. So all I'm going to do, take it, flip it, take my glue, and just put a little bit of glue on this little area that I flipped. Then go over here, take a little bit of glue, and put it right there. And the reason I'm not doing it all over here is because I don't need to. I just want to create a tent. So I'm going to take one side and place it on the paper like that, and then create my tent however I want it to be, and create it like that and press down. Okay? So now when you're looking at the paper through the camera, you can see that we have a tent. And our tent is popped out. That's pretty cool. Great, that's where I'm going to sleep. But what else has to happen? Well, I'm thinking where I camp, if it's fall, there might be some leaves on the ground. I was able to find some leaf paper. I'm just going to go and I'm just going to play with it. This is where we get to be creative. I'm just going to kind of take my scissors and cut out from this paper. Now if you don't have leaf paper, you could draw leaves or use a different color. Whatever you're feeling, this is the scene that you'll create. I think I like having a few of them. Big ones and smaller ones. Just like that. Okay? And we'll put this to the side in case we want to use those little that's left. So right now, I'm not going to glue anything on, but I'm thinking I might place it around like so. Now before I do, looking down, I want to create the top of a tree. So what might that look like? Well, perhaps I'll take some more green. I'll take a crayon. And if I were looking down at a tree from the sky, it would look like that on top. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut around like so. I'm just going to have it ready to place wherever my tree would be. Maybe I will have some water near my tent where I'm camping. So let's go ahead and take our blue. And maybe there's just a little pond somewhere on my campsite or in the forest. I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut it out in the shape of a pond. Now perhaps you'll be using something else for your paper, or you'll be creating something else on your scene. That's okay. This is where we're just creating whatever feels good to us. I like the idea of having my water right here. So I'm going to flip this over and glue it like so. I want to be close to the water, but I don't want to have the water right beside my tent. I found some felt in my craft box. I was thinking I'd take my felt and create some stones to put around my water, like so. I'm just going to go ahead, grab your felt or another piece of material if you have it, and you go ahead and create your stones and place them where you'd like, and then we're going to glue them on. Let's go ahead and attach our stones around our pond. So take your glue, and let's put a little bit at a time so it doesn't dry out. You'll notice that I'm putting a little bit more glue than I normally would if I were using just paper. And I just want a little bit extra because the felt is a little bit thicker. I'm going to go around, and it's okay if they sit on each other a little bit. So try and put the stones in different colors. So a little bit of green here. I used a little bit of gray. And just alternate between the two, making each one a little bit different. And place them wherever feels good to you. And that seems like a really good fit. You've got just enough, and there you go. You've got your stones around your pond. And I like how they're a little bit textured and pop up, just like our tent. So the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to move these a little bit because I'm not sure I'm going to stick them there yet. But I do want to make a fire. I want to make a fire that has lots of wood and lots of fire in it. So I'm going to take my brown paper and I'm just going to first cut what would look like the shape of a log. So maybe my log looks a little bit like this. And I'm going to take another and make a wood shape like so. And we're going to put it in a circle. So just start cutting the shape of a log or what you want your log to look like. And some can be big, some can be small. I'm going to make some of mine a little chunky so that I can pile them on top of each other. And they can be however you want them to be. Now that looks good to me as a first layer, so I'm going to put this to the side. Now what do we need in the middle of our campfire? We need fire. So what I was thinking is we would take a little bit of yellow paper, some red paper, and some orange paper. Now I don't want to be too fancy. Instead what I want to do is I'm just going to rip, like so. I'm going to do the same with the red paper, just ripping it like so. And now I think I'm just going to play with it because I don't really know what I want this to look like yet. But I do know that I want the fire to stand up. I want it to be a little bit thicker on some pieces and a little bit thinner on others. That feels good. Let's get some yellow and do the same. And it's okay if they're a little bit thin like that. We won't use all the pieces, but I want to have different pieces. Okay, that feels good for now. So I'm going to move this to the side, and I know that I want my fire to be right here. So I'm going to build up. Let's put some glue in there, and let's just do something that feels like that. So do you see how I'm not, I bent it a little bit, and if I do that, it sticks up. I'm going to keep piling on and bending up. And that's going to feel and look different for everybody. So you do what feels good for you. If I squish it a little bit, what does it do? I'm going to experiment here. I'm going to squish my fire a little bit. Do I need more glue? Do I need less glue? Let's play. That is starting to look like fire to me. I'll put a little bit of glue on there, pop it down, do it again. I'm just going to start layering over and over and over, and you'll notice that what happens is it really does start to look like layers of fire for my campfire. I think I will use all of my pieces. So I'm just going to put another one here. Maybe squish this one a little bit and put it right here again. And that to me looks and feels really fun. So now I want to go and I want to create my circle with my glue. And I want to put my wood around my fire. So let's go on in and do that. I've got the base here, just like so. I'm going to go on over here and stick it down. Now if things come up, don't worry, you can go back and glue them in. This is the start of mine. And I'm thinking, because I have this paper bag, we could add some more textures. So maybe I want to just add some glue on top. And if it moves, don't worry, we're still playing with it. I'm going to sprinkle this up, crumple it, like so. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe you have a different idea or different materials. That's okay. This guy doesn't want to stick, so let's go ahead and stick him back on. And then I'm just going to put a bunch of glue right like that. And just play with it. Just make it look like your own. What will your campfire look like? I'm sure it's different from mine. That's okay. That's what makes this fun. Okay? That feels good to me. Squishy, and it looks like fire, and it's standing up. And it also almost feels hot. All right, so I'm going to bring my fall leaves back, and I'm just going to glue them around my tent. So grab yours, and wherever feels good to put down, just put some glue. Let's put that down. I think I'm going to add a little bit around the back like this, and maybe a little bit over here. That feels good. And I want to put my tree somewhere where it feels safe, away from the fire. So I'm just going to cut out a tree trunk. maybe it looks like this a little bit. I'm just going to stick my tree trunk like so. A little bit off to the side, and then just stick my tree on like that. And maybe I'll do that again with another piece that I'm going to cut out. And maybe you'll have bushes, maybe you'll have different types of trees. This one right here, I'm going to do a little bit of a smaller one on top. That's a good size. Let's take that and just glue that one on. And of course, if you can't see it, you can just go in and make it a little bit darker with your crayons. Use your imagination, use all the materials that you have. Maybe you're even using paint if you have it. That feels really good. Let's take some of our remaining paper. I'm going to choose the same material that I used for the tent because it's a little stronger. And I'm just going to cut this piece in half. I was thinking we would make a bridge. So like before when we made our tent, once I have my piece, I'm going to fold it a little bit up like this. And then on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing, folding it a little bit up. And I'm just going to do this. I don't want it to bend too much or make a crease, but just enough so that I can make my bridge. So you guessed it, we're going to flip this over. And we're going to put a little bit of glue on here and a little bit of glue on there. We don't put glue in the middle if we can help it. And we just want to take it and sit it down like so. And now we have made a little bridge that we can walk over the pond. How cute is that? Now you could go ahead and you could color this in as well. The other thing that I think is really important is to add you to the scene. So let's take another piece of paper and let's take a black or a dark marker or a pencil. And I just want to fit myself inside of that tent. I want to look up the stars. So before I can do that, I need to create myself. So that is a good length. So right here, I'm going to put my head just like that. Then of course I'm going to add my hair and a smiley face because I love camping. I'm just going to add part of my body like so. Now if you want, you could go ahead and add the rest of your body too, but it's going to be inside of the tent. All right, let's go ahead and let's color in whatever we've made. Now that I've colored myself in, I'm going to go and just cut myself out. So let's go ahead and be very gentle with our fingers, watching where we're cutting. As we go around, just take your time. And once we're done, we'll put this to the side. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back. I'm going to push myself in, and then I'm going to pat it down so that I'm in my tent and I'm looking up at the stars. The other thing that I was thinking is I wanted to add more grass. So I've taken some green, a little bit like that, and I'm going to make cuts halfway into the grass. And I'm sure you remember doing this before. We don't want to cut all the way across, just halfway with little snippets until we're all the way down, like so. There you go. Then we're going to take it and we're going to squish it. The part that we've cut, we're going to squish like so. And on the part that isn't squished, I'm going to put my glue. I'm going to flip it over and put glue just on the part that is not cut or squished. And I'm going to pick somewhere to put it. Right here, I think I'm going to put it right where my tree is. And now my grass around my tree is standing up. And that, my friends, is almost done. One thing that I wanted to do is just to add a little ripple in my water. And maybe you'd like to even add fish or something else. But to me, that feels really good and very inviting. I love this camping scene. I had so much fun creating this camping scene with you today. I hope you had fun too. Send me your photos. I'll see you next time.